Have you ever met someone who at first glance appeared perfect, but turned out to be someone completely different? Real character isn't shown in dramatic ways. It's concealed in plain sight, in the mundane details that most people fail to notice. To help you get to know someone's character, today I'll be showing you 5 things to look out for. At the video's conclusion, you will know how to distinguish between the genuine and the fake. Just click the subscribe button before we go in. Our explorations here will appeal to you if you take pleasure in delving into the mysteries of life. Character number 1. How they treat those who can't benefit them. How they treat people who have no power, influence, or advantage to offer them is one of the best ways to judge a person's character. They may ignore waitstaff, janitors, street vendors, or anyone they think inferior. Masks worn to impress others often fall off in these situations, revealing nature. Ancient Stoic philosopher Epictetus, a former slave, stressed universal respect. His teachings were that morality is treating everyone with dignity, not appearances or selective compassion. He believed that everyone was rational and deserved respect, regardless of their status. Failure to provide this basic politeness to the unimportant indicates a deeper character fault. Being nice to people who can help us or uplift us is easy. People save their finest manners for their boss, powerful persons, or anyone they value personally. Such selective generosity is often self-serving and disingenuous. True characters respect everyone because it's in their character, not their goals. Imagine a pleasant, charming person who snaps at the office cleaner for a small issue in a meeting with executives. These differences show that individuals only value relationships when they can benefit. Such behavior indicates a transactional attitude to human connection rather than true kindness or moral commitment. Treating others decently regardless of the situation shows integrity. The renowned Stoic philosopher Seneca stated, "Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for a kindness. People deserve respect and decency because they are human, not because of what they can do." True kindness comes from small, ordinary acts. Saying thank you to a barista, opening the door for a stranger, or smiling at a sad person shows character. People who behave out of empathy and respect rather than duty or self-interest are shown. Watching how they interact with people in service roles is one of the simplest ways to understand someone's character. So how do they treat the grocery store cashier, restaurant waiter, or phone customer care rep? Can they be pleasant and patient despite mistakes or delays? Or are they irritated, condescending, or rude? Though ignored, these interactions are telling. A person who treats service personnel with care and respect demonstrates humility and appreciation, while someone who bullies them shows arrogance. According to Stoics, we are all part of a broader human community. Aurelius remarked in Meditations, "What injures the hive, injures the bee." Harming others harms us since we are all one. Mistreating others, especially those who can't respond, damages society and one's character. Epictetus stated that status and roles don't matter when judging a person. What matters is character and virtue, he said. This logic holds that how a person treats others reflects their grasp of humanity and ethical behavior. Many individuals say they appreciate kindness, respect, and equality, but talk is cheap. Without societal pressure or real advantage, someone's behavior shows their true self. Being respectful to janitors as well as CEOs indicates a consistent set of values. Conversely, If someone actively degrades or ignores others, it highlights deeper character faults. A drive for power, insecurity, or an inability to empathize often cause this behavior. Look at how people perform in these situations to understand their character. 1. Do they thank and be patient with servers in restaurants, even if service is slow or mistakes are made? 2. In public spaces, how do they handle strangers who bump into them? 3. With employees, do they respect and encourage or talk down to them? Last but not least, this lesson is an opportunity to reflect on how we treat people. Like Marcus Aurelius, do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Stay good while you can. Do good in every interaction, no matter how tiny. These small acts of kindness build character, and by doing so repeatedly, you boost others and enhance own morals. Treating everyone with respect, whether they can help you or not, reflects your values and the environment you want to create. Character number 2, how they handle conflict. Response to conflict, adversity, and tough situations is a key indicator of character. Conflict is inevitable in relationships, business, and daily life. Conflict defines us, not the conflict itself. Stoic Seneca observed, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." The Stoic approach of hardship is to meet it with patience, poise, and intelligence, as this strong remark shows. Stress and difficulty are opportunities to show emotional resilience and virtue, so how someone manages them is a true test of character. Gracefully addressing conflict requires self-control. Epictetus said, "Our well-being depends on how we react to external situations." "It's not what happens to you, but how you react that matters," he remarked. In a crisis, it's easy to let anger, irritation, or fear take over. But true strength is the capacity to halt, reflect, and act wisely. Maintaining composure in a heated dispute or unpleasant situation indicates emotional maturity. Their reactions are managed, and their actions reflect their principles, not their emotions. Yelling, accusing, or responding rashly in conflict shows a lack of emotional discipline and self-awareness. Seneca said, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay." Stepping back before reacting is a key Stoic precept. When in conflict, a person of character will breathe deeply, step away if necessary, and ponder before responding. This prevents hasty decisions, harmful words, and regrettable deeds. When in conflict, listening is as vital as speaking. Despite disagreement, a person with strong character will listen cautiously. This doesn't imply people have to agree, but it demonstrates respect and a willingness to understand, which improves conflict resolution. In his Meditations, Marcus Aurelius observed, "Everything we hear is opinion, not fact. Every view is a viewpoint, not fact." This knowledge helps us see that conflict often stems from different viewpoints. Listening carefully and understanding the other person's sentiments helps the person approach the situation with empathy and clarity, making it simpler to find a solution that benefits everyone. However, someone who interrupts, refuses to listen, or is more concerned in winning than understanding the situation lacks respect and emotional intelligence. They will defend and fight rather than resolve conflicts. Another crucial part of handling conflict is being calm under pressure. When stakes are high and emotions are intense, character emerges. One can easily lose control and say or do things that cause permanent harm at such moments. A person with strong character will stay calm and true to their ideals, even under pressure. An employee with a tight deadline, high expectations, and a conflict with a co-worker is stressed. Managing the matter professionally, focusing on solutions rather than blame, shows honesty. Because they know their emotional reactions won't address the situation, they focus on calm, practical solutions. According to Marcus Aurelius, external events should not disturb inner tranquility. The speaker said, "You control your thinking, not outside events. Recognize this and gain strength." By staying calm amid conflict, a Stoic shows command over their thoughts and emotions. Humility, a Stoic virtue, is crucial to conflict resolution. Humility lets a person own their faults and apologize without ego. Strong character allows someone to recognize fault and apologize sincerely if they've hurt others. Seneca wisely said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." This might be seen as a lesson on emotional richness in the context of conflict. Poor people who try to win a fight by dominating, manipulating, or being stubborn lack the emotional maturity to handle it fairly and gracefully. Handling conflict with character requires forgiveness. We all make errors and are harmed by others. Strong character people don't seek revenge or harbor grudges. Instead, they forgive when necessary, since they know holding on to anger or resentment hurts them. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injustice." By releasing negative emotions, a person can go forward with clarity and calm, free from anger and hatred. Conversely, people who cannot handle conflict gracefully collapse under pressure. Instead of accepting responsibility, they lash out, divert blame, and create excuses. This reaction shows emotional fragility and self-awareness. It shows that the person is controlled by their surroundings and unrestrained emotions rather than their values. When criticized at work, this may emerge as defensiveness, wrath, or aggression. They react rather than learn from feedback, protecting their ego at all costs. This reaction is wasteful and destructive to trust and relationships. It shows an incapacity to confront hard facts and learn from misfortune. Conflict reveals our character. Our reactions to arguments, disappointments, and obstacles reveal our values. A patient, empathetic, and humble conflict resolutioner may be trusted to act with honesty in difficult situations. In moments of conflict, however, someone who uses anger, defensiveness, or dishonesty reveals their own insecurity, pride, and lack of self-control. Keep in mind that how people handle pressure is just as important as how they handle quiet, easy periods. When conflict tests our patience, principles, and emotional resilience, true character emerges. Character number 3. What they say about others. How someone talks about others, especially when they're not there, is a good reflection of their character. Powerful words can inspire or degrade. The way a person talks about others, especially in their absence, shows their principles, vulnerabilities, and integrity. Marcus Aurelius observed in Meditations, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." Our thoughts, words, and judgments reveal our inner selves. If someone often criticizes others, they may be bitter or envious. However, speaking nice, fair, and understandingly about others, especially those they disagree with, shows character strength. The most typical method people talk about others while they're not there is gossip. Many varieties of gossip aim to harm someone's reputation, elevate the gossiper, or entertain. When discussing someone we feel threatened by or have issues with, gossiping is easy. Gossip shows nervousness and lack of confidence. The famous Stoic philosopher Seneca warned, "Gossip is an enemy of friendship, a disturber of peace." When someone gossips about others, it reveals their character. They typically criticize others to validate themselves. Jealousy, insecurity, or competitiveness drive chatter. Ask yourself why you chatter so much if you do. Are you honestly attempting to comprehend a situation or utilizing someone else's weaknesses to hide your own insecurities? The Stoics thought that virtue needed self-examination. Avoid gossip to avoid harming people and a negative judgmental mindset. However, a person of high character will shun gossip and speak with kindness and justice, even about someone they dislike. Aurelius cautioned, "When you are about to embark on a great journey, remember the nature of the people who will accompany you." Treating others with respect and understanding, even in their absence, shows morality. Kindness toward others, even those who are absent or have offended them, displays courage and humility. They don't want to gain advantage or approval by putting others down. They are moral and raise others up, not tear them down. In the workplace, not criticizing co-workers, subordinates, or superiors displays maturity and self-confidence. They don't criticize others behind their backs, since they know their mistakes don't define them. They instead provide constructive comments and hold people to high standards in a supportive manner. Seneca advised focusing on oneself rather than condemning others. His words, "A man's character is not defined by how he treats those who are above him, but by how he treats those who are beneath him." One's actual personality is shown by how they speak about and treat those who cannot provide them something in return. Criticism, especially unconstructive criticism, is another type of denigration. Negative criticism is damaging and unneeded, yet constructive criticism can help people progress. An unwillingness to comprehend or sympathize might be shown by a critic who constantly focuses on the bad. Aurelius advised, "When you are offended at any man's fault, turn to yourself and reflect in what way you are similar." Stoicism advocates self-reflection before criticizing others. Criticism expressed forcefully or frustratedly rarely works. When provided with kindness and a real desire to help, it may transform. Thus, continual criticism of others' looks, conduct, or choices generally indicates a lack of empathy, self-awareness, or maturity. A good individual will listen before criticizing. An important part of human contact is empathy, understanding and sharing another's sentiments. Empathizers listen to people and speak about them with compassion, even if they disagree. Stoic philosophers like Epictetus stressed empathy and perspective-taking. Epictetus stated, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." It's important to listen and comprehend before judging others. Our words about others, especially in their absence, should be filled with compassion and respect. A good individual won't criticize others because everyone's battling their own struggles. They will also accept that their prejudices and emotions may cloud their impressions and avoid criticizing without understanding the circumstances. You can also judge someone's character by what they say about you when you're away. An honest individual praises people when they're not there. They do the right thing because it fits their ideals, not because it looks good or benefits them. If someone is criticizing you behind your back, it's evident that their respect for you is conditional. This may indicate a lack of maturity or emotional intelligence, not malice. How someone speaks about others, especially when they're not there, reveals more than words. It shows their ideals, empathy, insecurities, and character. How others talk about somebody in their absence can help us grasp who they are. and if we can trust and respect them. Create a Stoic existence by speaking kind, fair, and empathetically about others, both present and absent. By doing so, you will elevate others and develop a character that represents your best. Character number 4. How they treat their commitments. Commitment behavior is a powerful indicator of character. In a promise, commitment, or responsibility, a person's reliability and consistency reveal who they are. According to Stoicism, true virtue is discipline and honesty, especially when we commit to something. Legendary Discourses author Epictetus remarked, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it." This powerfully reminds us that life will test us, but our response defines us. Not breaking our word to ourselves or others shows character strength. We are ruled by principle or convenience, honesty or expediency. According to the Stoics, dedication meant living by one's values, no matter what. Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius stressed reason and virtue during their lives. Fulfilling our commitments to ourselves and others was a show of strength, they believed. Epictetus believed that our choice in life circumstances gives us power. Regardless of how we feel, we force ourselves to keep our promises. His words, "Freedom is the only worthwhile objective in life. We win by ignoring outside factors." Keeping promises, especially when it's hard, shows self-control and loyalty. Integrity is just taking your word seriously, even when no one is watching. Integrity was important to the Stoics, since a person's character is determined by their capacity to act on their principles regardless of pressure. The ability to keep a promise shows internal consistency. They stay true to their beliefs and are unaffected by small diversions. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations about completing one's duties regardless of the situation. "Do not waste time on what you cannot control," he believed. "Do what you can. Stick to virtue-promoting actions." Marcus believed life was a succession of choices, each one an opportunity to live one's principles. When someone maintains their promises, it demonstrates they value themselves and their growth. In hard times, people's word is especially important. If everything is going well, keeping promises is easy. But when problems arise, whether emotional, financial, or unexpected, true character shows in how we handle them. Maintaining commitments in difficult times shows courage, resilience, and personal responsibility. The Stoics taught that virtue is consistency, not convenience. Keeping a promise is easy, but sticking to it when it's hard shows character. Stoics think we should plan for the long term and realize that our actions have long-term effects. They believe the key to keeping commitments is consistency and discipline, not short-term rewards. Teachings of Epictetus inspired students to live with purpose and discipline. Don't describe your philosophy. Incorporate it. Living by Stoic ideals involves living virtue every day, even when it's hard. Whether it's convenient or uncomfortable, a person who stands by their values will act consistently. It shows a lack of discipline and contempt for morals when someone frequently makes excuses, breaks promises, or doesn't follow through. This shows a person who acts on instinct rather than principle. Accountability relates to commitment. Those that keep their promise also assume responsibility. Though uncomfortable, they'll accept their acts' repercussions. In reality, Stoics value accountability. According to the Stoics, we should take responsibility for our actions, learn from our mistakes, and move forward. "No man is free who is not master of himself," said Seneca in Letters from a Stoic. Accountability, especially for obligations, is part of this competence. Responsibility-taking people know that integrity is more essential than praise or reward. As they seek self-mastery, they accept responsibility. Accountability and commitment means that someone will keep their promises and apologize if they fail. Stoicism promotes humility and understanding failure. A strong individual will confess their mistakes, apologize, and work to improve. Being reliable is a hallmark of character. Reliable people can be trusted to make and keep their promises without constant supervision. Despite being alone, they keep their word. Personal, professional, and informal relationships are strengthened by this reliability. Reliability extends virtue for Stoics. Being honest about their integrity and benefits the world. Reliability builds trust and security in relationships, building dependence. Unreliable or inconsistent contributors damage trust. Their inaction ruins relationships and casts doubt on their character. People may question if the individual can be relied on in the future, loosening the link. The obstacles of life will make keeping commitments tough. An illness, family emergency, or heavy workload. These moments reveal one's character. Despite obstacles, a loyal individual will fulfill their duties. Although they may need to change tactics or seek for aid, they will keep their promises. Dedicated people find ways to keep their promises. They will face problems openly and resolve them with integrity and responsibility. A crucial part of Stoic practice is adaptability and commitment. Keeping our promises is part of living a virtuous life. Thus, we must face obstacles head-on. Behavior toward obligations reveals character. Whoever keeps their word shows reliability, integrity, and accountability, which Stoicism praises. Those who violate promises or make excuses for their mistakes lack discipline and emotional strength. To build character, analyze your commitments. Did you keep your vows when it was hard? Do you live your ideals and take responsibility? Building a life of integrity, consistency, and trust will motivate others to do the same. Character number 5, how they act when no one's watching. How a person acts when no one is watching is the final and most telling test of character. This is often the truest measure of integrity because there's no extraneous motivation, no audience, prizes, or social obligations. When we feel invisible, our true selves emerge. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher emperor, often reminded himself in his meditations that the gods, or a higher standard, were always watching him. "Live as if you'll die tomorrow," he wrote. "Learn as if you'll live forever." Not that we should fear being evaluated at every turn, but that we should hold ourselves to a higher standard that forces us to do the right thing even when no one is watching. True character doesn't involve doing virtues for praise. Integrity is an internal compass, not an external one. Thus you must follow your principles even when no one knows. Virtue begins with integrity for Stoics. Stoic thinkers like Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, and Seneca felt that living one's values regardless of circumstances was most important. Epictetus taught, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." He means that integrity is how you act when no one is watching, when there's no obligation to perform. Living with integrity involves doing the right thing because it's right, not because others will notice or reward you. The core of Stoic ethics is virtue for its own sake. Authenticity is best measured by how someone acts when no one is watching. Wearing a mask and acting virtuous among others is simple. We've all behaved to please others. When no one is watching, character is tested. The only thing that matters now is following our ideals. Authentic behavior, especially in solitude, reveals that a person is not dependent on others. They do right because they believe in it, not for praise. Marcus Aurelius advised, "Be yourself. Avoid clowning around. Be kind, independent, and free from others' expectations." Stoics stressed living by principle, not opinion. Marcus Aurelius said, "Opinions are world noise. Avoid drowning out your own." A Stoic lives by principle regardless of others' eyes. Whether it's returning a lost wallet, keeping a promise, or helping a stranger, Stoics always act morally. What do you do if you find a wallet with money while going down the street? Do you take the money without witnesses? Do you return the wallet because it's right, even if it's not beneficial? Returning the wallet without praise shows the highest integrity, acting on principle, not for reward. A person's acts in private show their self-mastery. Self-mastery, one of Stoicism's ultimate virtues, demands impulse and desire control. It's about behaving rationally, not on emotions or wishes. Stoic sages have conquered their inner world and act in accordance with their values at all times, whether in public or alone. Epictetus believed that taking charge of external circumstances gives us freedom. True freedom is the ability to manage our behavior without others watching. Doing the right thing is simple when you're being watched and criticized, but the actual test is whether you can do it alone with your thoughts. Small, seemingly trivial behaviors often show a person's character. Though little, holding the door for someone when no one is watching, picking up trash when no one is watching, or offering a kind gesture without expecting anything in return, shows a person's character. Stoics knew that little daily choices lead to virtue. They felt that habitual virtue in little moments builds character. Epictetus observed, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Personal mastery entails doing the correct thing even without external reward. The ultimate test of character is if someone follows their principles without accountability. When everyone is looking, we're trying to impress, or we have something to gain, it's easier to act with integrity. When alone and without external constraints, do we live by the same standards? Marcus Aurelius often contemplated this. He saw every moment as an opportunity to cultivate virtue. Even when no one was watching, you control your thinking, not outside events, he stated. Realize this to gain strength. Living our ideals regardless of others gives us power. When someone acts with integrity privately, it demonstrates they are not seeking compensation, acceptance, or recognition. Instead, they are driven by self-duty and principles. They act because it's right, not for accolades. Stoic virtue is doing the right thing, regardless of the outcome. If you act virtuously alone, you are living your actual self and following your principles. You exude integrity, self-mastery, and honesty as a Stoic. You are establishing a life guided by your character rather than external circumstances. The best predictor of character is how someone acts alone. It shows whether they behave for virtue or external approval. Whether someone notices or not, doing the right thing in private indicates that someone is devoted to fulfilling their ideals. According to Marcus Aurelius, what stands in the way becomes the way. True character is built by overcoming problems and following our ideals, even when no one is watching. Stoics believed that integrity is about little, consistent choices that show our actual nature, not only great, dramatic deeds. You find meaning, fulfillment, and virtue by living your ideals regardless of circumstances. We learned from the Stoics that actions, not words, define a person. Watch how someone respects others, handles disagreement, speaks about people, keeps promises, and acts alone. Spend no more time arguing about what a good man is, stated Marcus Aurelius. B1. As you notice these indicators in others, you'll adopt them yourself. Thanks for watching. How have you implemented these teachings to your life? Leave a comment. Until next time, be careful and seek wisdom.